everyone, welcome back to Spoken English TV.
Hi guys, so glad to be here again.
Maya, I've got a quick question for you.
Go ahead, I'm all ears.
Is social media a force for good, or is it doing us more harm than good?
Wow, straight in at the deep end.
No warm-up today, we're diving right in.
All right, give me a second to gather my thoughts.
Take your time.
Honestly, I'd say it's a bit of both.
Both? That sounds like you're sitting on the fence.
I know, but it happens to be true.
Fair enough. Let's unpack that a little today.
Yes, let's really get to the bottom of this one.
This topic touches almost everyone watching right now.
Exactly, because practically everyone uses some form of social media these days.
So let's start simple, Maya. Roughly, how much time would you say you spend on social media each day?
Honestly, probably far more than I'd like to admit.
Come on, put a number on it.
Fine, maybe 3 hours a day, sometimes even more.
3 hours? That's no small amount.
I know, and I'm not exactly proud of it. Between Instagram, YouTube, and WhatsApp, the hours just slip away.
I actually checked my screen time last week, and mine came out at almost 4 hours a day. It genuinely caught me off guard.
4 hours? Ryan, that's practically a part-time job.
Right? And I can barely account for what I was doing with most of it.
That's the unsettling part, isn't it? The time just evaporates and you can't even explain where it went.
Exactly. You open the app to check one message, and before you know it, 40 minutes have gone by.
The classic just 5 minutes trap.
Every single time. And it never actually stays 5 minutes.
So let's dig into why that happens. Why is social media so addictive to begin with?
I read somewhere that these apps are deliberately engineered to keep us hooked. It's no accident.
Engineered how exactly?
Well, every time you get a like, a comment, or a notification, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. It's a feel-good chemical.
Wait, so it's like a tiny reward each time?
Precisely. And because the reward is unpredictable, you never quite know when the next like or comment will land. So your brain keeps nudging you to check.
That sounds remarkably similar to a slot machine.
That's actually the comparison a lot of experts draw. Several former tech employees have openly admitted they built these apps using the very same psychology as casinos.
That's honestly a bit unnerving when you stop and think about it.
It is, because we assume we're the ones in control, scrolling for a bit of fun, when really the app is designed to keep us there far longer than we intended.
Okay, so that's clearly one downside. But to be fair, there must be genuine upsides too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. Let's tackle the positive side first, actually, before we head deeper into the drawbacks.
Perfect. Let's start with connection. I think that's the biggest advantage by far.
Couldn't agree more. Social media allows us to stay in touch with people no matter where in the world they happen to be.
My cousin moved to Canada 3 years ago, and honestly, without video calls and Instagram, I think we'd have drifted apart completely by now.
That's such a great example. Distance used to spell the end of friendships, but now it doesn't have to.
Do you have a similar story, Ryan?
Actually, yes. An old school friend of mine now lives in Australia. We reconnected on Facebook after almost a decade of zero contact.
A whole decade? Wow.
Yes, and now we message each other regularly. Without social media, that friendship would most likely have faded away by now.
That's a lovely point. It genuinely helps sustain relationships that distance would otherwise wear down.
And it isn't just personal relationships either. Think about small businesses, too.
Oh, yes, go on. Tell me more.
Small businesses that could never have afforded a huge advertising budget can now reach thousands of potential customers using nothing but a phone and an Instagram account.
True enough. My aunt runs a small home bakery, and nowadays nearly all her orders come through Instagram.
See, that's the perfect real-life example. A few years back, she'd have needed a physical shop or costly newspaper ads to get anywhere close.
Exactly. And now she simply posts a photo of a cake, and orders start rolling in within minutes.
It's genuinely remarkable how social media has reshaped the entire landscape for small entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And let's not overlook education either. So many people pick up brand new skills through platforms like YouTube.
Oh, this one's close to my heart. I learned how to edit videos entirely from YouTube tutorials.
Really? All of it? Just from YouTube?
Yes, every last bit. I never enrolled in a formal course. Free tutorials taught me everything I now know about editing.
That's incredible. A couple of decades ago, that sort of knowledge was locked away behind pricey courses or university degrees.
Exactly. And nowadays, anyone with an internet connection can pick up coding, cooking, languages, or even public speaking, completely free of charge.
Honestly, that's probably the most powerful upside of social media. The way it's made knowledge accessible to virtually everyone.
What about awareness, though? I think social media also plays a massive role in spreading crucial information rapidly.
Definitely. Think back to natural disasters or emergencies. People often receive real time updates through social media well before the news even catches up.
Yes, and it's equally powerful when it comes to social causes. Countless important movements have gathered momentum purely through social media awareness.
That's true. Ordinary people can now raise their voice and reach millions instantly without needing the blessing of big media companies.
It genuinely hands ordinary people a platform they never had access to before.
Okay, so we've covered connection, business, education, and awareness. That's a fairly solid list of positives.
It really is. But now let's flip the coin and get into the darker side.
Yes, because honestly, the drawbacks carry just as much weight, maybe even more.
Let's kick off with mental health, since that's arguably the most widely discussed issue right now.
This one hits close to home for me, actually.
Really? Would you like to share?
Sure, a few years ago, I found myself constantly comparing my life to what I saw online vacations, achievements, even people's bodies.
That sounds utterly exhausting.
It was. I didn't even clock what was happening until I noticed I felt low almost every time I closed the app.
That's actually referred to as comparison culture, right? Measuring your everyday life against someone else's highlight reel.
Exactly. And the tricky bit is, people usually only post their finest moments, never their struggles.
So we end up pitting our behind the scenes reality against someone else's carefully edited trailer.
That's such a brilliant way to put it. Our behind the scenes versus their trailer.
It's spot on, though. Nobody posts about their bad days, their arguments, or their setbacks nearly as often as their triumphs.
And that paints a distorted picture of reality, particularly for young people who are still working out who they are.
Speaking of young people, I'd say teenagers are probably the group hit hardest by social media's downsides.
Definitely. Countless studies have linked heavy social media use among teenagers to rising anxiety and depression.
I read that platforms built heavily around photos and appearance, certain photo sharing apps in particular, tend to have a more pronounced negative impact on body image, especially among young girls.
That's honestly heartbreaking. Teenagers are already juggling so much pressure: school, friendships, growing up, and now they've got the added burden of appearing flawless online.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop at body image. Cyberbullying has also become a massive problem thanks to social media.
Yes. In the past, bullying tended to stop the moment you got home from school. Now, it can follow you everywhere, right into your pocket, day and night.
That's such a crucial point. There's genuinely no escape any longer. A message sent at midnight can still reach you.
It really shows how technology has reshaped the nature of these problems. They've grown bigger and harder to shake off.
Let's touch on something else too: misinformation. I feel like that's turning into a huge issue as well.
Oh, absolutely. Fake news spreads at an alarming rate on social media, sometimes even faster than the real thing.
There was actually a well known study from MIT which found that false information travels considerably faster online than accurate information does.
Wait, faster than genuine news? That's astonishing.
Yes, because false stories tend to be more shocking or emotionally charged, and people share emotional content far more readily without pausing to verify it.
That's genuinely dangerous, particularly during major events like elections or public health emergencies.
Exactly. During certain health crises, some social media platforms had to slap warning labels on posts because so much misleading information was circulating about treatments and vaccines.
It really underlines how much responsibility comes with wielding such a massive platform for spreading information.
And on a smaller scale, even in our own day-to-day lives, we've probably all shared something without bothering to fact-check it first.
Guilty as charged. I once forwarded a message about free mobile data that turned out to be a complete hoax.
Oh no. Did you find out the embarrassing way?
Yes, my friend called me out on it immediately, and I felt mortified.
See, it happens to the best of us. That's precisely how easily misinformation spreads, even among sharp, cautious people.
Let's also touch on privacy. I think that's another major concern people don't dwell on enough.
Right. Every time we scroll, like, or search for something, these apps are quietly gathering data on our habits and preferences.
It's honestly a bit creepy at times. I'll mention a product to a friend, and suddenly ads for that exact product start popping up on my feed.
Oh, that happens to me constantly. It genuinely feels as though the phone is eavesdropping.
Whether it's actually listening or simply remarkably good at predicting patterns, either way, it's unsettling.
Whether it's actually listening or simply remarkably good at predicting patterns, either way, it's unsettling.
That's a whole different level of concern. Our information itself becoming a commodity.
Exactly. We often forget that if a service costs nothing, chances are we're the product, not the customer.
That's such an important reminder. People need to be far more aware of what they're actually agreeing to when they accept those terms and conditions.
Be honest, Maya. Have you ever actually sat down and read a full terms and conditions page?
Never in my life. I just scroll to the bottom and hit accept.
Exactly. We all do that. And that's precisely the problem.
Okay, let's move on to productivity now, because I think that's something practically everyone wrestles with.
Oh, this one hits home for me too. I used to open Instagram just to check a single notification and end up losing an entire hour without noticing.
The classic notification trap. We've all fallen into that one.
Every single day, honestly. It's as though the app pulls you in without asking permission.
I think that's exactly why so many people struggle to concentrate on studying or working these days.
Definitely. Our attention spans have shrunk because we're constantly hopping between short videos, messages, and notifications.
There's actually research suggesting that heavy multitasking with digital devices can chip away at our ability to focus on a single task for extended periods.
That's genuinely concerning, particularly for students trying to prepare for exams.
Exactly. Imagine trying to work through a textbook chapter while your phone buzzes every few minutes.
I don't have to imagine it. That's quite literally my daily struggle.
Mine too, if I'm being completely honest.
So it seems social media doesn't only affect our mental health, it also undermines our ability to focus and get things done.
Right, and that ties into sleep as well. So many people scroll on their phones right before bed.
Guilty as charged. I sometimes tell myself I'll check for just 2 minutes and end up scrolling for an hour before finally drifting off.
The 2 minutes lie. We've all told ourselves that one at some point.
Every night, practically. And then I wonder why I feel drained the next morning.
There's actually science behind that, too. The blue light emitted by screens can interfere with our body's natural sleep signals.
That makes sense. Poor sleep then knocks on effect to our mood, our energy, and even our performance at work or school the next day.
It's like a chain reaction, one bad habit setting off several other problems.
Okay, so we've covered mental health, misinformation, privacy, and productivity. What else is worth discussing?
I think we should talk about how social media affects real life relationships, not merely our online ones.
Oh, this is such an interesting point. Have you ever gone out with friends only to find everyone glued to their phones?
All the time. It's practically become the norm, which is honestly rather sad.
Right, we're physically together, yet mentally somewhere else entirely, scrolling through someone else's life rather than engaging with the people right in front of us.
There's actually a term for that now: phubbing, meaning to ignore someone in favor of your phone.
Wait, that's an actual word?
Yes, it's a blend of phone and snubbing. And honestly, the behavior has become so widespread that they had to coin a term for it.
That's both amusing and slightly tragic at the same time.
It really is. I've noticed even family dinners sometimes descend into everyone quietly scrolling instead of talking to one another.
I've witnessed that too. It makes you wonder what conversations we're missing out on simply because we're too preoccupied with a screen.
At the same time, though, I don't think we should place all the blame on the technology itself. It genuinely depends on how we choose to use it.
That's a fair point. Do you think it comes down more to the tool or the person wielding it?
Honestly, I think it's mostly down to the person. A knife can chop vegetables for a meal, or it can hurt someone. The tool itself is neither good nor bad.
That's a remarkably clever comparison, Maya.
Thank you. And I think social media operates the same way. It's neutral, but the habits we build around it determine whether it helps or harms us.
So perhaps the real question isn't, is social media good or bad, but rather, how are we actually using it?
Exactly. I think that's the far more useful question to be asking.
Okay, let's dig into that then. What are some healthy ways to approach social media use?
I think the first step is being intentional. Ask yourself why you're opening the app before you actually do it.
That's a solid tip. Like, are you opening it to message a friend or purely because you're bored and scrolling out of sheer habit?
Exactly. There's a world of difference between using social media with a clear purpose and using it mindlessly just to escape boredom.
I've actually started setting screen time limits on my phone.
Once I hit a certain number of minutes, it nudges me to stop.
Does that genuinely work for you?
Sometimes I ignore the reminder, I'll admit. But most days, it really does sharpen my awareness.
At least you're making the effort. That's more than most people bother to do.
What about you, Maya? Do you have any personal rules for using social media?
Actually, yes. I try not to check my phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up.
Really? That sounds tough.
It was tough at first, honestly. But now I feel it gives my mind a calmer start to the day, rather than plunging straight into notifications and other people's opinions.
That's actually a great habit. I might give that a go myself.
I also make a point of unfollowing accounts that leave me feeling bad about myself, regardless of how popular or trendy they are.
That's important. Curating your feed with intention.
Exactly. If an account consistently makes you feel envious, insecure, or anxious, there's really no reason to keep following it.
That makes a great deal of sense. We often forget we hold the power to choose what we consume online, just as we choose what we eat.
That's a great comparison. Just as junk food isn't good for your body, some content isn't good for your mind.
So true. We need a healthy digital diet, not just a healthy food diet.
I like that. A healthy digital diet. That should become our slogan.
Let's make it official. All right, let's also touch on parents and children, since that's a topic plenty of our viewers might relate to.
Yes, this is such an important conversation, particularly for the younger audience watching this.
I think one of the biggest challenges facing parents today is figuring out the right age to let kids onto social media.
It's definitely a tricky call. Kids are naturally curious, and if their friends are using an app, they usually want in too.
But at the same time, young kids might lack the emotional maturity to cope with things like public comments or online criticism.
Exactly. And that's where parental guidance becomes crucial. Not necessarily banning it outright, but steering them through it.
What do you reckon is the better approach? Outright restriction or open communication?
Personally, I lean towards open communication. If parents ban something outright, kids often grow even more curious and might find sneaky ways around it.
That's true. It's probably wiser to teach kids how to use it responsibly, rather than pretending it simply doesn't exist.
Exactly. Teaching digital literacy is becoming just as vital as teaching traditional subjects in school these days.
Digital literacy in schools? That's actually a brilliant idea. Do schools even teach that yet?
Some do, particularly in more developed countries. But honestly, it ought to be a standard part of education everywhere by now.
I couldn't agree more. Kids should be taught about privacy settings, spotting fake news, and healthy screen habits, just as they're taught maths or science.
That would genuinely equip the next generation far better for the digital world they're growing up in.
All right, let's shift gears slightly and revisit the positive side of activism and social change, because I think it deserves further attention.
Yes, please. Let's dive into that.
Social media has handed a voice to people who never had one before, especially in countries where traditional media is tightly controlled or restricted.
That's such an important point. Ordinary citizens can now document events and share them directly with the world without seeking anyone's permission.
Exactly. And that level of transparency can hold powerful people and institutions accountable in ways that simply weren't possible before.
It's honestly one of the most powerful uses of social media, putting power back into the hands of ordinary people.
Can you think of a personal example where social media sparked genuine change close to you?
Actually, yes. There was a local road near me riddled with potholes for years.
despite endless complaints, nothing ever happened.
So what happened?
Someone posted a video of it on social media, tagged the local authorities, and within a week, the road had actually been repaired.
Wow, a week? That's astonishingly quick.
Right? Years of complaints achieved nothing, but one viral post got instant results.
That's honestly a perfect example of the power of public pressure through social media.
It really demonstrates how these platforms can push accountability far quicker than traditional complaint systems sometimes manage.
Okay, let's talk about careers too, because social media has genuinely spawned entirely new job opportunities that didn't exist previously.
Oh, this is a great point. Content creation itself has become a legitimate full-time career for so many people nowadays.
Right. Roles like social media managers, influencers, video editors, and digital marketers simply didn't exist 20 years ago.
It's honestly fascinating how an entire industry has sprung up around platforms that barely existed a couple of decades back.
Would you ever consider becoming a full-time content creator, Maya?
Honestly, I do think about it now and then, but it also looks remarkably demanding and stressful behind the scenes.
Very true. People often see the glamorous side, but not the constant pressure to keep churning out content and staying relevant.
Exactly. There's tremendous pressure to appease an algorithm, which can shift its rules without any warning whatsoever.
That's actually a hugely underrated source of stress. Imagine your entire income hinging on an algorithm you don't fully understand or control.
It sounds exhausting, honestly. One day your content performs brilliantly, and the next day, for no obvious reason, barely anyone sees it.
So even careers built on social media come with their own distinct challenges, not merely glamour and fame.
All right, let's bring this back to a broader question now. After everything we've discussed, do you personally think social media has done more good or more harm to society overall?
That's a genuinely tough question. If I had to pick, I'd say it hinges heavily on how a society and each individual within it chooses to use it.
I feel exactly the same. The tool itself carries incredible potential for good, connection, education, opportunity, and awareness.
But without responsibility and awareness, that very same tool can just as easily damage mental health, spread misinformation, and pull us away from real life.
So maybe the real solution isn't ditching social media altogether, but using it with far more awareness and intention.
I completely agree. Balance seems to be the key word here, not total avoidance and not mindless overuse either.
Exactly. Like most things in life, moderation genuinely does matter.
So, for anyone watching right now, what's one small tip you'd offer to help build a healthier relationship with social media?
I'd suggest tracking your screen time for just 1 week without altering anything. Simply observe your current habits honestly.
That's a great first step. Awareness before action.
What about you, Ryan? What's your tip?
I'd say switch off unnecessary notifications. You don't need to know the instant someone likes your photo.
That's such simple yet genuinely powerful advice.
Small changes really can add up to a big difference over time.
Absolutely. And I think that's a fitting note to wrap up our discussion on today.
Before we finish up, let's touch on something interesting. Different platforms actually affect us in different ways, don't you think?
That's a great point. Not all social media is cut from the same cloth.
Right. A professional networking platform feels worlds apart from a short video entertainment app.
Exactly. When I open a networking app, I generally feel motivated, as though I want to learn something or advance my career.
And when you open a short video app,
Honestly, I feel like my brain switches off entirely and I just keep scrolling on autopilot.
Same here. Short videos are engineered to be so rapid and addictive, one ends and another starts up instantly.
That's actually the design again, isn't it? No natural stopping point, so your brain never gets the cue to stop.
Exactly. Older platforms at least had a clear endpoint. You'd eventually reach the bottom of your feed.
Now feeds are basically bottomless. There's nowhere left to reach.
That's called infinite scroll. And honestly, it's one of the most addictive designs ever dreamed up for apps.
It really makes you wonder how much thought goes into keeping us glued to our screens.
Exactly, because more time spent translates into more advertisements shown, which in turn means more revenue for the company.
So ultimately, our attention has literally become a business model in itself.
That's such a powerful way to frame it. Our attention is the product being sold, not merely our data.
Let's talk about something a little different now. Have you ever attempted a social media detox, Ryan?
Actually, yes. I gave one a go last year for about a week.
Really? How did it pan out?
The first 2 days were genuinely difficult. I kept reaching for my phone purely out of habit.
That's so relatable. It's practically a reflex by this point.
Exactly. But by day 4 or 5, something interesting happened. I started reading more and even picked back up an old hobby, drawing.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you notice any shift in your mood?
Honestly, yes. I felt calmer, and I wasn't constantly measuring my life against other people's posts.
That's such compelling proof of how much social media shapes us without our even realizing it in the moment.
Would you ever try something similar yourself?
Actually, I did try something along those lines once, but only on weekends, not a full week.
Oh, do tell.
Every weekend for about a month, I delete the apps on Friday night and reinstall them on Monday morning.
That's such a clever compromise. Weekday use, but a free weekend.
It worked wonderfully for me, actually. My weekends felt considerably longer and more relaxing.
That's interesting. It goes to show that even small breaks can make a noticeable difference to how we feel.
Definitely. You don't have to quit outright to reap the benefits. Even minor tweaks make a difference.
Let's also touch on something important, the generational gap. Do you think older and younger generations view social media differently?
Oh, definitely. My parents mostly use it to keep up with family and old friends. Nothing more elaborate than that.
My parents are much the same, mainly family group chats and forwarded good morning messages.
The classic good morning message forward. Every family group seems to have that.
Every single day without fail. In my family, too.
But for us, and particularly for younger generations, social media has become far more central to identity, career, and even self worth at times.
That's such an important distinction. For older generations, it's often just a tool, but for younger people, it can feel like a core part of who they are.
Exactly. And that's likely why the negative effects on mental health show up more visibly among younger users.
It really demonstrates that how deeply something is woven into your identity determines how much power it holds over your emotions.
Let's also briefly touch on the future. Where do you reckon social media is heading next?
That's a great question. I think artificial intelligence is set to play an even bigger role very soon.
You mean AI generated content flooding our feeds?
Exactly. We're already seeing AI generated images, videos, and even entirely virtual influencers on certain platforms.
That's honestly a little unsettling. How do we even know what's real anymore?
That's going to be one of the
biggest challenges going forward, telling authentic content apart from artificially generated content.
It really raises the stakes on media literacy even further than before.
Definitely. The skills we need to navigate social media responsibly are only going to grow more crucial with time, not less.
So future generations will need to be even more discerning and careful than we currently are.
Which is exactly why conversations like this one matter so much.
It really is. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode with us today.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Spoken English TV.
And drop a comment below. We genuinely love to know. Has social media done you more good than harm, or the other way around?
Let us know your honest thoughts down in the comments.
Also, share this video with a friend who might genuinely enjoy this kind of thoughtful discussion.
Until next time, this is Ryan.
And this is Maya, signing off from Spoken English TV.
Keep practicing your English, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Take care and see you soon.